You're right. You have the in-person facilitation, and you've got to know the content. You have to know the activities. That's part of the role of the facilitator. But you really do. I think sometimes you forget how much you can rely on that in-person feedback, right? That visual feedback that you get, whether or not someone is or is not paying attention, or is engaged, or is confused. Yeah. And that completely goes away in the online experience, even with webcams. And I'm a huge fan of the webcam, and I make sure everybody's on it, and you have smaller groups, and they've got their view up. But even with that, it's really tough to get that feedback. And so it's really, I think, even more important for a facilitator in a virtual space to have their own almost toolbox of ways to provide that content. What kinds of activities, what variations on providing those activities might you have? And I'll actually give you a really good example that I just had this week. I was doing a virtual facilitation we provide DISC training for our sales associates. So we're going through this, and this particular group that I was helping support, they happen to be a certain DISC style, which is the more quiet style. They're the C's and the S's. And so one of the activity spaces was to just have a casual conversation and ask them, you provide some information, and you'd ask them to, volunteer and talk about it. And there was nothing. So that's hard, right? I mean, in an in-person space that may happen, but it doesn't happen as often. And so you've really got to, I think, as a facilitator, be able to go, okay, how can I pivot quickly? What other options do I have to deliver this material in an effective way, while still, helping support them and, meet them where they are and what they need. And so basically we pulled in some other poll questions, which helps, but I basically just said, at that point, I was just going to start calling on people. And I didn't make it seem like I was just going to pick on you. I just said, okay, all right, for this next part of the activity, I actually am just going to give everyone an opportunity to lead part of the discussion. And I said, it's totally random. It's based on the order in which you joined the session, but we're going to watch this quick video, and then we're going to talk about these questions. But I want each of you to get an opportunity to speak. And I'm just going to assign one of you to lead the discussion and answer those questions for us. And I basically did a round robin for each of them. And it was really cool because they each got to speak, but they didn't feel like they had to, initiate the volunteering of it. They wanted to talk, and they were amazing at being able to share what they wanted to share. But it was that overcoming that initial, I don't really feel comfortable raising my hand in a virtual space kind of thing. So again, I think it's really important to have those, much more than you might need to have. I mean, I think it's always good to have a toolkit of options of how you can pivot, but I found that in the virtual space, you need those more often for almost every experience or activity that you're doing.